Greetings, travelers, and good morning. My name is Pine, and welcome back to another New World video. On today's video, we're going to be talking about everything that you need to know about expeditions in New World. Let's break down the basics. Expeditions are for a maximum of 5 players. You will have to defeat powerful foes, complete puzzles, and clear your way to the end. Upon reaching the end, you'll meet the final boss. Here is where all strategy must come together, and you and your allies must band together to defeat him. But your efforts will all be worth it. Upon their defeat, there's a chance for special items to drop. Some of the most powerful items in the game will come from expeditions. And despite the challenge, they are worth it to progress your character in New World. While all of this sounds appealing, the entry comes with a cost. Every dungeon will require a tuning orb. The tuning orb is the key used to gain access. These orbs can be acquired through a couple different methods. There are many different quest lines around Aeternum that'll award you a tuning orb. On top of that, you'll also be able to craft them using the life skill stone cutting. Although you'll need to supplement stone cutting with various other life skills and resources found throughout the world. Now that we understand the basics, let's talk strategy. First things first, let's just cover location. Each of the expeditions are located in key parts around Aeternum. A majority of your group, including the person with the key, must then travel to the expedition portal. If at least 3 members are at the portal, you may begin the expedition, and the other 2 members can be teleported from their current location. The next thing we need to talk about is level requirements. All of the expeditions will have various level requirements, with the lowest being the early 20s and the highest being the 60s. But there is an entry cost. When you enter an expedition, you must use a key. This key will be consumed on you, so make sure your group is able to finish the expedition. With that being said, let's start talking about your group. Expeditions allow for a maximum of 5 players to enter, but you need at least 3 players to start it. The basic roles for an expedition are the following. Tank, which is used to frontline and control the enemy monsters. With a combination of taunts and crowd controls, their primary focus is keeping the enemies occupied, so the other party members can do their jobs. Next, we have the healer. The healer wields a life staff, and it is their responsibility to help keep the group alive. Of course, the other party members can supplement that with their own potions and healing. And finally, no expedition would be complete without the DPS, or the damage. This is the most flexible role, and will be filled with a variety of different weapons and playstyles. My recommended team comp for any expedition is a tank, a healer, and 3 DPS. This follows the same party system as other MMORPGs. One thing that is absolutely crucial for your team's success is to ensure that your tank has a Carnelian Gem in one of their weapons. The Carnelian Gem, when socketed into a weapon, enhances your abilities to make them taunt compatible. That means enemies struck by the ability will then be forced to attack the user. This is very important for tanks as it helps them round up and take control of the enemy monsters. Make sure before doing an expedition your tank has a Carnelian Gem. This gem isn't the only available resource to help you succeed in these dungeons. Let's talk consumables. There are many different consumables available to help ensure your success. We have the health elixirs, which are used to restore a large portion of our life, mana elixirs, which are used to restore a large portion of our mana, regeneration potions, which are used to restore a combination of both, weapon sharpening stones to increase your base weapon damage, oils to coat your weapons to give you various damage increases against certain types of enemies, and potions that increase your defenses against various types of enemies. And of course, the bread and butter. Bring some food, especially attribute food, which will help buff your character's stats. All of these items can be used by every player on your team, and of course, the more items used will ensure the speed and quality of your run. Now that we're buffed up and ready to go, let's talk about the enemies. The enemies in Expedition range from 3 different tiers. First, you have the common elite monsters, which are used to fill the pathways and are just one of many tests you'll have to endure. After fighting your way through these elite monsters, you'll begin to encounter mini bosses. These mini bosses will generally have a name, as well as special traits which will increase their combat ability. These mini bosses will have a chance to award you with powerful loot. And it's worth noting that there's various treasure chests hidden around the expedition, so keep your eyes peeled. Finally, once you fought your way through all the elite monsters and mini bosses, it's time for the final encounter. The final encounter will be up against a very powerful boss enemy. This boss will tend to have a special name, traits, and various phases and abilities that'll alter the fight as you go on. Make sure you band together. The tank holds strong, the healer supplies their group with reinforcements, and the damage utilize their powerful abilities and weapon mastery. Through your combined efforts, the final boss will fall. The boss will have a chance to drop items and there will be a final expedition cache. This cache, along with every other one you encounter, can be looted by the whole team. Don't forget to keep an eye out for various quest items while you're here. Each expedition will generally have a quest associated with it. I don't recommend you do the expedition until you can pick up the required quest. Since you'll generally only have one key available, you'll want to utilize it to get the best experience possible. Now there's a few more things that are worth mentioning. Around the expedition, you'll find that various points are locked behind puzzles. These puzzles must be completed by your team to ensure that you can progress as a group. These puzzles will vary from expedition to expedition, but generally will have the same solution once you figure it out the first time. Work together with your teammates to solve the puzzles, as they will stop you from accessing various bosses in progression. Some of the puzzles will also be gated by the Azoth Staff, so make sure that somebody in your expedition group has one equipped. The Azoth Staff is acquired from the main story quest. The last thing we need to talk about is what happens when you die in an expedition. When dying in an expedition, you'll have the chance to respawn at a nearby shrine. These shrines are located through key parts of the expedition. You'll have to make sure you touch the shrine to activate the respawn option. Of course, you'll take durability damage and be penalized as normal. Now, there's a slight difference when you die during the final boss encounter. In the final boss encounter, you'll have a chance to be incapacitated or knocked down at least once. A teammate will then have the option to revive you. However, after that, when you take fatal damage, you will then be eliminated. When you're eliminated, you are forced to respawn behind a wall, and then your team must continue on without you. Do your best to survive the final boss encounter, as you want to make sure you're part of the kill participation. And with that being said, let's do a quick wrap up on expeditions. Expeditions are 5-man player versus environment combat. You'll have to defeat powerful foes, mini bosses, and a final boss to award yourself with powerful loot. These expeditions can only be entered in with a key. Keys can be acquired through various quests or through the stone cutting life skill. There are numerous consumables to ensure your success and quality throughout your run. Team composition matters. Make sure to have a tank, a healer, and 3 DPS. Finally, work together. Solve the various puzzles and defeat all the enemies, because the loot is absolutely worth it. You'll also need to complete various expeditions to advance through the main story quest, so make sure you don't miss out. Don't forget to pick up the side quests, as this will greatly increase the experience value you get out of your expedition key. And finally, remember that there is no time limit. Take your time and make sure you complete the dungeon at all costs. If you fail, the key will be consumed and not available for use again. Here is a list of every current expedition and their level requirements. That's it for me, guys. If you made it this far in the video, I just want to say thank you so much. I want you to know that I really appreciate all the kind and receptive feedback, and that I take my time to go through and reply to the comments. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you check out my channel, and of course help me out in the YouTube algorithm. Don't forget to leave a like, sub, and comment down below on another New World video that you want to see me cover. My final note is that if you want to support the content outside of YouTube, make sure you check out my live stream on Twitch. I live stream just about every day, but I'll be putting my full focus into New World on launch come September 28th. It would mean the world to me if you could stop by and check out my channel, and maybe let me know if the guide or any of my videos have helped you out. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and as always, safe travels through Aeternum.